Girl Scout troops across Central New York gathered at OCC to hear from a special guest. Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Lagarde. Welcome to the News at 10. To the stars with Eileen Collins. Retired astronaut Eileen Collins held the event to talk to the next generation on her successful astronaut career. Our Caitlin McCarthy explains.
The room was packed with Girl Scouts and their families with many questions on their mind about what it's like being an astronaut.
How do they float in space? How do they eat? How do they go to the bathroom?
For May and the other girls at the event, they were able to get their questions answered. Eileen Collins discussed her successful career and her achievement of becoming the first woman to pilot the Space Shuttle. Now she's giving back to the younger generation.
To let the girls know what the possibilities are for them, and they can think about the types of things they want to do in their life. And I'm going to use some of the examples in my career, places where I did well, places where I failed, how not to give up.
Collins has many personal ties to the event as she was a Girl Scout herself. She expresses the importance of having role models to look up to in STEM careers.
Having women that are role models that are in these STEM careers, whether they're teaching, and I think most of us have role models of women teaching STEM careers, but maybe we don't have as many role models out in the workforce, women doing engineering.
Collins' last piece of advice for young girls is encouraging them to reach for the stars.
It's important for young people to set their goals high and realize that, maybe you'll reach that, maybe you won't, but the excitement is in trying. And then when you get to be my age, you want to be able to look back and say, well, at least I tried.
Departments in the town of Lysander have gotten together to recruit volunteer firefighters for a statewide initiative to get more volunteers to serve their communities and also encourage young people.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
A chance to help out your community is what Assistant Fire Chief of Belgium Cold Springs, Joe Corcoran, has to say.
Community needs people to come when they need emergency services, when they're having an emergency.
Right now, fire departments across the state are in need of volunteers. Corcoran adding they're looking for anyone that will commit time to their local fire department.
That maybe a person isn't comfortable or able to be an active firefighter where they're going into burning buildings or they're running EMS calls, but they bring a unique skill set.
For Corcoran, he says it brings him nothing but joy being able to serve a community that has given him so much.
Without members, without recruitment and getting new members in and getting people involved with the ambulances and the volunteer fire departments, we can't serve the community.
This is also a way to get young people involved, showing them at a young age that they can be a firefighter too.
We're kind of planting the seed because we always want to have young people becoming involved because our experienced members are starting to get to the point where they need to take a little bit of a step back for a variety of reasons.
Experts say the vibrations that neighbors reported north of Syracuse is a confirmed earthquake. The epicenter of the 3.6 magnitude earthquake is on your screen. The United States Geological Survey says the earthquake happened around 2:10 this afternoon, impacting neighbors in Jefferson and Oswego County. Our Morgan Scott has the latest details for us tonight.
The 3.6 magnitude earthquake hit Adams, New York in Jefferson County. But tonight, neighbors I spoke with here in Pulaski tell me they too felt parts of this earthquake. It was a sudden shock that none of the Pulaski neighbors expected this Sunday.
I was actually standing up playing darts with a buddy of mine that stopped by, and I just thought like an explosion happened.
While some were enjoying the day with family and friends at home, the earthquake left them at a standstill for what felt like a brief second of chaos.
10-20 seconds at least, because I was able to walk around the kitchen and look downstairs while I was still kind of feeling it and hearing it. The motion and actually the noise, so that made it felt like it was something was going on and we couldn't figure out where it was.
I thought maybe something blew up in the basement, like my hot water heater, or I didn't know for sure what it was, but the house just did like a quick boom and like a rattling. It felt like my floor fell out from under me, almost like an elevator when you first get on it, you know. It was kind of crazy.
Both Joe Reynolds and Ryan Conklin surprised to even hear of an earthquake happening in their area. This isn't the first earthquake that's happened in central New York, but still very different than any other possible earthquake they experienced before.
In Syracuse, actually, back in like the early 2000s, and in my apartment there, I had rattling, like things on the dresser were rattling, things on the wall. This was just, it was almost like something exploded nearby.
Other neighbors I spoke with tell me, although very brief, the feeling is not something that they would forget. And thankfully, there's been no real reports of any damage so far.